Chioma, ayy. Queen Chioma, ayy. She the one that always stay poppin', ayy. Flow crazy and it got my head bobbing, ayy. My nose up till you joints looking snotty, ayy. Brown skin cascade down my body, ayy.
So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. And by the title, we're going to be talking about a conversation that I came across online that I actually think is really important and really timely. This conversation comes from influencer and YouTuber Breeny, someone I personally used to watch a lot back in the day and would consider one of the OG beauty YouTubers. Over the years, she's transitioned from mainly beauty and hair content into more long-form conversations and podcast-style discussions, especially for older Gen Z and millennials. She's also started a Modesty fashion brand that you guys should definitely check out. So she recently posted a clip titled, "You Don't Need a New Body, You Need New Clothes," where she talks about cosmetic surgery, fashion, and the pressure women feel to alter their bodies just to look good in clothes. She also really hits on modesty, which is something that I haven't spoken about before and have been seeing conversations about women, mainly late 20s, transitioning into early 30s, opting for more modest clothing and representation more often. And I cross-checked myself and I was like, wait, I think this was happening with me. Not fully modest, but you know, there are just certain things that are promoted to us as fashion and trendy that I am attracted to, but sometimes I'm just not enamored by it, even though I still enjoy a sexy outfit too. So I thought this conversation was really honest, very layered, and worth breaking down. So I've broken this video down into 3 main talking points. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So my first point is the body isn't included in the purchase. And I feel like that's a bar, but before I even give my thoughts, I wanted to start by reading Breeny's caption verbatim because I think the caption itself perfectly sets the tone for the entire conversation. So I'm gonna read this exactly as she wrote it, and then I'll play the clip from her video. So it says, "You don't need a new body, you need new clothes." Over the years, cosmetic surgery has seen a surge amongst women, the BBL, also known as a Brazilian butt lift, being the most popular. And as someone who has had this surgery, howbeit unsuccessfully, after I got the surgery, I noticed my dressing changed. All of a sudden, I wanted to show more of my body. All of the clothes I wore were tight clothes. I morphed into a baddie after the surgery. All of a sudden, I could wear all of the latest fashions and look like the images on the website. Fashion brands like Fashion Nova capitalized off of this and are known for their models having unrealistic, surgery-enhanced body types that distort how natural, unenhanced female shoppers feel about their own bodies when they buy their clothes, and it doesn't look the same on them. That's because the body is not included in the purchase. For 3 years, I've been wanting to make this documentary titled Dying to Be Pretty, which explores cosmetic surgery and our endless pursuits of trying to achieve the unachievable. I think I'll finally start working on it this week. You'll be able to watch it over on my YouTube channel when it's out, but tell me in the comments, have you ever felt the need to go under the knife to attain the popular body type so that you could look better in clothes? Do you agree with this revelation? Now, I want to play a short clip from Breeny actually talking about this with her co-host, because hearing it directly from her as someone who's lived it, I think adds so much more context.
What if you look like a fridge though?
So what?
You don't like it?
Okay, this is what I've realized, yeah, and this might be a hot take, yeah. As I've been on my journey of modesty, yeah, the reason why we are now obsessed with our bodies, yeah, is because the clothing nowadays is spandex, it's tight fitting. You have to have the body to wear the clothes.
Okay.
And on Fashion Nova or Pretty Little Thing, they don't say body sold separately.
Yeah.
So then you put it on your fridge, it doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
Because the body is what's for sale. Clothing nowadays is meant to actually expose. I genuinely feel like this is a hot take and I've never said it before, yeah. When you actually put on clothes and dress modestly and no one gets to see if your bum is a fridge or if the bum is big, it neutralizes. Modesty is the most female empowering thing for every woman. Because the only reason we're now obsessed with our bodies is because we're showing it more. Of course you're going to compare, oh, it looks like a... Before, back in the day, a bum is a bum. We go to... Women go to the toilet with their bums. It's just a bum. It's made to cushion you while you sit down.
I want a big one though. I do.
Why?
Do you know what? Yeah, I go gym regularly. Yeah. When I'm banging those hip thrusts, it's not for free. Like I want the bum.
Okay, well, why do you want the bum?
I don't know. Good question. Why do I want a bum? Because it's juicy. It's
For who?
For me.
Do you get to touch your bum?
Yeah, touch that.
You touching your bum at
No,
night?
I lift it to see
At
how
night,
heavy
like,
it is.
occasionally.
What do you mean?
Like at night, just to be touching
No,
your
it's not
bum.
even, I don't think it's about me lifting it.
You want to feel it back there?
No, I feel like when I have a nice bum, you support me.
Your clothes.
My clothes fit better.
Now, after watching that, I think one of the most important things she said is that when women buy clothes online and they don't look the same on them, it's not because the clothes are ugly or because their bodies are wrong. It's because the body being sold with the clothes is not included in the purchase. Brands like Fashion Nova have built their entire business model around showcasing clothes on surgery-enhanced bodies, especially BBL bodies, and that completely distorts how natural, unenhanced women feel when they buy those same outfits. When fashion becomes about matching a body instead of fitting a person, that's when the problem starts. Breeny even admitted that after she got cosmetic surgery herself, her dressing changed entirely. She said she suddenly only wanted to wear tight clothes, show more skin, and basically morphed into a quote-unquote baddie because now she could finally look like the models on the website. And that is the real issue right there. Fashion stopped being about the clothes and became how close your body can get to the body being advertised. So when women feel disappointed trying on these outfits, I know I've been there, have you been there? They internalize that disappointment and think they need a new body instead of realizing the marketing was never realistic to begin with. Another reason why this conversation is so important is because fashion itself has changed drastically. When you go shopping now, everything is cropped, everything is mini, everything is sheer, everything is thin, or everything is filled with cutouts. It's genuinely hard to find staple pieces that don't require you to show skin.
When did clothing companies stop making normal length stuff? Why is everything cropped? It's winter. I'm looking for a normal sweater. I do not need a cropped fleece sweater. I need a fleece sweater. Why is it cropped?
And since nobody want to talk about it, why the hell is every shirt a crop top? Why are we not making full length shirts anymore? And I'm not talking about the shirts that's right on the cusp of my stomach that won't fully go down to my waist. Like, what's really going on here? Like, I bought this shirt from Zara that I have on right now. It barely reaches my waist. I lift my hand up. This is the crop top. This is the crop top. It shouldn't reach all the way up here if this was a standard shirt. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not understanding what's really going on here.
Long sleeve tops are cropped. I don't know why. Jackets are even cropped. Dresses are mini by default. And while there's nothing wrong with showing your body, if that's what you want to do, hell, I do it too, right? I believe the issue is that women don't really have a choice anymore. Fast fashion brands like Fashion Nova and Shein flooded the market with revealing clothes because they sell fast, they trend well online, and they photograph nicely on exaggerated bodies. So when most fashion is designed to highlight curves, women start to feel like their bodies need to be exaggerated just to participate. And this is where cosmetic surgery becomes less about vanity and more about trying to fit into the standard being pushed. Now, moving on to point number 2, perception is everything. This is where I want to shift the conversation because I think this is really the root of why so many women in their late 20s and early 30s are changing how they present themselves. It's not just about fashion, it's about perception. I came across another video that went viral and it perfectly illustrates it in this clip. In the clip, there's a woman wearing a very short dress that clearly doesn't fit her properly, okay? Her cleavage is out, her chest area is emphasized, and she's explaining how she wants men to take her seriously. She says she wants love, she says she wants to be the forever girl, not just a girl from last night. And the people she's talking to are basically telling her perception matters. Let's check it out.
Kitty, won't you wink at me?
Check out this reaction.
What's your question?
I meet people from everywhere. I've seen the world, but for some reason I still can't find love, not love that's like genuine, someone who don't want me for the benefits.
I think we gotta be honest about presentation.
Come on.
No judgment to you, but I'm saying if I'm meeting you here tonight and I'm looking at how you dress, my thoughts are not gonna be intellectual.
That's not fair, but okay.
That's not fair. I don't want you to be mad at me. The way you came to that microphone, baby.
Oh my God.
Kitty, can you wink at me?
Kitty, I love you.
I love you too, baby. But let me tell you something. As a woman who done had to go a lot of stages through my life, I done had to go through a lot of seasons, a lot of mistakes. There was a spirit that I operated in a long time ago that made me promiscuous. It was something that attached itself to me, and I lived in it for a very, very, very long time. It was the way that I was speaking to people, the way that I presented myself in conversations, the way I presented myself to men, and those men only wanted me for sex. And I kept going through that same cycle until I released that spirit, until I was delivered from that spirit that was in me. Not trying to go too deep, but I recognized something in you that was once in me before. I'm a wife. I had to release a lot of things. I had to ask God to restore me in a lot of ways. I had to go through a lot of guilt and a lot of shame for mistakes that I made from a spirit that I was operating in that came down my bloodline. You operated in the spirit, baby. You can cover up right now, but even by the way you talk, it's in you right now. And I'm not saying that to beat you down, baby. I hope and pray that you take this to heart.
Of course.
I hope you do. Take this message. If you are running in the same cycle, it's time to do some inner work. You got to look within and see exactly what is the cycle that I'm allowing myself to stay in. You can put on some clothes right now. You go to a man, ooh, can you talk to me for a second? He's going to see the sexual nature that's in you, and he's going to lead, just like what Trill was saying.
Easy Q.
You can cover up all day long. It's in a way that it's in your behaviors, in the way you talk, in the way you interact, in the way you engage, in the way you talk about your future, in the way you talk about yourself. If you're running into the same problem, it's a you problem, baby. What do you want in a man?
Loyalty, love, a God-fearing man, someone who can respect me.
If you want someone to respect you, you got to respect yourself, baby.
Absolutely.
Okay? And if you want a God-fearing man, you got to be a God-fearing woman.
Of course.
As well.
Yes.
Okay?
Now, let's unpack this, okay? Whether we like it or not, perception does matter. And where the conversation gets uncomfortable, because I know there's going to be comments about this brought up, but there is misogyny in how women are perceived based on how they dress. Like, absolutely, right? I'm not denying that. But I also think it's a double-edged sword, because at the same time, we all have eyes. We all perceive things based on what is presented to us. If you walk past a fruit stand and the apples, oranges, and bananas are sitting right there out in the open, you assume that they're for sale. But if there are other items underneath the stand that you can't see, you don't even know that they exist. So when something is placed front and center, people are going to perceive it as such. That doesn't always come from a malicious place. Sometimes it's just human nature. And I think women know this, but we don't want to admit it, but we do know this, because the same logic applies to men. If I see a man online constantly posting shirtless photos, wearing Speedos, talking about how good he is in bed, I'm probably going to think he's a male stripper, a gigolo, or at the very least, someone who leads with sex. If I see a man flexing stacks of cash, designer head to toe, chains on chains on chains, constantly talking about money, I'm probably going to assume one of three things. He's rich, he's scamming, or he's a trick. And honestly, most of the time, I'm assuming he's a trick. I'm just being real. Now, does that mean every man who posts money is a trick? No. Just like every woman who dresses sexy isn't selling her body, right? But there's usually a 50% chance that the perception exists for a reason. A stereotype doesn't come out of nowhere. An aesthetic doesn't exist unless a large group of people are actively performing it. The baddie aesthetic didn't just fall out of the sky. It's a look, right? It's intentional. So when people say, don't perceive me that way, but everything about the presentation points in that direction, there is a disconnect. And I think a lot of women reach a point where they're tired of that disconnect. Perception exists for a reason. And this is exactly why we've seen the shift from BBL era to, I believe now we're in the face era. This didn't happen because women suddenly rejected beauty standards. It happened because women became more aware of how they're being perceived. Extreme curves became heavily associated with being hypersexual, being lusted after, being objectified, and not always being taken seriously. So instead of rejecting enhancement altogether, the focus kind of shifted upward. Now it's the lip filler. Now it's the cheek filler. Now it's the facial balancing. It's polished faces. It's softer bodies. People are also losing weight now. The goal isn't to scream sexuality anymore. It's to project prettiness and elegance and respectability. That shift alone tells you that women are actively managing perception, whether we want to admit it or not. Now, moving into my third and final point, modesty is a preference, not a punishment. This is where modesty comes in, not as a rule, but as a response. Modesty isn't about shame or religion or hating your body. It's about maturity and intention. A lot of women reach a point where they want peace, right? They want stability. They want to be in love, not just desired. They want fewer situationships, right? Less chaos, more alignment. And when you cross-check yourself, you start asking real questions. What am I putting out? What am I attracting? What does my presentation say before I even open my mouth? And I want to be very clear, this is not about condemning hypersexual women. I still love a good sexy moment. I love a tease. I love a beautiful body. I love when the girls give us a look. But I'm also honest about consequences because everything in life has one. You can be sexy and still be respected, but certain aesthetics come with a certain assumption, whether we like it or not. That's just reality. I've gotten a lot of flack, oh my goodness, over the years for being honest about this. I've been called a hater for talking about BBL culture. I've been told that I want a BBL. I've been called a hater for talking about rapper baby mamas and that aesthetic, prostitution, and hypersexual female rappers selling sex in their music. But I've been saying this since like 2018, since 2021, that representation matters and that Black women deserve to have more than one hypersexual image. And now suddenly people are waking up and saying the same thing. Now it's, we want modest fashion. We want different representation. We're tired of this aesthetic. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's what I've been saying. But modesty isn't about moral superiority either, okay? It's about alignment with where you are in your life as a woman. And that's why this conversation is so layered. You can appreciate beauty, still love sex appeal, and still be honest about how presentation affects perception. All of those things can exist at the same time. I also want to be very clear because conversations about modesty can get misunderstood really fast. Modesty does not mean shame, and it does not mean covering up because you hate yourself, right? It also doesn't mean dressing like a nun. You can still be sexy, confident, and fashionable while being modest. A long sleeve, body hugging maxi dress can be just as flattering as something cut out and sheer. Throw a trench coat over it and you still see the shape without everything being on display. Personally, I'm kind of like in between. I love a good sexy outfit. I love form-fitting clothes, and I've worn things in the past that I would never wear again today. But as I've gotten older, I've leaned more into simple, pretty, toned down looks because that feels more like me, like where I'm at with my life. And I think that's what Breeny's brand really represents. She's showing women that you don't need a new body to be fashionable. You need clothes that respect different shapes, different identities, and different phases of womanhood. Now, just my closing thoughts. At the end of the day, this conversation matters because a lot of women don't really realize how much their desire to change their bodies is influenced by fashion, marketing, and social media. I mean, I believe we do, but fashion is actually a really big part of it. When you're constantly shown one body type as a default, it's easy to think something is wrong with you, but nothing is wrong with you, sister, okay? The system is designed to make you feel that way. And I do think more women are starting to question it, reject it, and choose styles that align with who they actually are instead of chasing trends that don't even serve them. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If y'all haven't already, make sure you follow me on all of my social media networks. Your girl is back on YouTube. If you've been missing my videos, I'm sorry. YouTube is messing with me a little bit, but I think we're getting back up there. So make sure you have your post notifications on. Go check out the videos that I posted last week. Go binge me. And I love y'all, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Queen Chioma, ayy. Queen Chioma, ayy. She the one that always stay poppin', ayy. Flow crazy and it got my head bobbing, ayy.